Hansi, and welcome to the Female Factor, where we explore how women work in a range of different careers. We discuss how they navigate their careers, who they look up to, and any lessons they would like to share. How are men and women different? Apart from their anatomical difference, of course. And how does this anatomical difference affect how we think and behave? Or is it because of social conditioning? These are very big scientific questions that we will not delve into here at this stage. At this stage, we're interested in whether people think there's a difference. If so, what are some of the uniquely female traits and skills? I was interested in what women themselves perceived as these uniquely female characteristics. So, are women different?
Yes. So that is a yes. On my team, we had a good mix. So we had roughly, I think, a 60-40 mix of male to female colleagues on the team. And I found my female colleagues to be very detail oriented. And they sometimes pick out signs that we don't see, such as they would ask question, for instance, regarding a particular bond, right? Which I just saw it as a name, but they would dig into that particular bond and ask a bit more questions on it. Sometimes men and women see risk a little bit differently. I think women are fantastic at networking, but like you said, it's unlike an old boys club where those people are probably fixed number of people and they mix together all the time. Women tend to be more, they go out more to meet different people more and not stick to the same group unless it's just close girlfriends. So I think yes and no.
Sometimes male leaders want to jump into solution and conclusion because they want to drive fast. So it can be between women and men, but or just individual trait. But I tended to find more strength in women leaders about listening to others and then dealing with ambiguity in this complex environment. Female leaders have a strength in terms of influencing others, make team work together, and nudging others to do something. So in that sense, I think there can be more female leaders in this fast changing environment.
Women tend to be better prepared, and that's an amazing skill set. Unfortunately, many women, and I certainly did this early in my career as well, you take a back seat because you don't necessarily feel confident to speak up. But in terms of the skill sets that I've brought in, I guess my woman's superpower, it's certainly the ability to be more organized. And I think that goes a long way. It's being better prepared, but it's also empathy. I think that is very important, whether you're working with a female colleague or a male colleague. Empathy just goes such a long way. You need to be able to identify with your stakeholders and just work through it.
First of all, I believe women and men are different in skills in terms of how they look at the world. And therefore, the combination of the both make the best. I believe in women bring different perspective. I think I found working women is so different from working men. Men's a lot of time have such confidence and just believe in it. Women's very holistic consideration. They are looking at the different perspective, other people thinking, and then mixed together with a great team because in direction, but you also need a very thoughtful thinking. We never say men and women are the same. I totally think that we are built so differently, and therefore it's great to have both. And because our understanding of life, our understanding of consumer, our understanding of investor, our empathy makes a very different way of approaching issues than the men. But the men also bring something very different.
I don't think we're great multitaskers. It's just that the fact that it's, just like anyone else, I need to focus on something. But the automatic brain is like, when especially when the kids were younger, it was always in the background going, okay, homework done, not done, is there anything that I need to get, any emergency art supplies before the shop shuts, because something is due tomorrow morning and stuff like that. So I guess it's just a matter of the fact that we are good at managing uh, our lives, whether or not it's multitasking. I don't know, because I don't think you can be very effective if you're, you know, all over the place, right? So for me, one by one, I do have my to-do list, and then the older I get, definitely I need my list.
That's a very interesting list of characteristics that our guests thought women had. Let me repeat them. Detail oriented, see risk differently, good at networking, cautious rather than jumping in, especially in an ambiguous, complex environment, influencing others, better prepared but not as confident, more organized, empathy, more holistic perspective, understanding of people, and not great multitaskers contrary to myth. Add storytelling to that list. That's what one of the CFA reports on gender highlighted as a skill that women tend to have. I should point out that there was some research that counteracts these perceptions. A 2008 study titled Will Women Be Women stated that there are robust gender differences in the domains of risk taking, overconfidence, and competition behavior. However, expertise tends to level these differences. The survey found that female fund managers tend to behave as expected from gender studies. They are more risk averse and shy away from competition in the tournament scenario. The expected lower degree of overconfidence by women is yet so small that it becomes insignificant in funds management. Another Oliver Wyman survey found that there is no reason to assume that women who get to the top in banking or who succeed on the trading floor will resemble the average or stereotypical woman. The same point applies to avoiding groupthink through diversity. The diversity required is diversity in outlook, temperament, experience, and education. In short, diversity of thought. Now, coming back to our guests, I was interested in hearing about how women could lean into this diversity aspect.
So instead of dinner, having lunch or having breakfast can be an option. And then, I mean, doing the same thing as men, it's not gonna make you be better than them. So I prefer to have your own style, leadership style, or own relationship building style. So what I did in the past when I was in marketing, rather than drinking together at night, I give them a small gift like a book, and then with some handwriting notes, or I just give something for their birthday. Or so there are many different ways to build relationship. Sometimes I guide, walking tour. So with clients when they come to Korea, and there are many other ways. I mean, there are many popularity on K drama, K beauty nowadays, K skincare. So there are many areas. I mean, female leaders can contribute and then build relationship with the clients. They are interested to know more about culture. So I think there are new things which we can do better.
We should definitely be thinking outside the box about how we can leverage our traits and skills. There is one taboo topic that these women didn't bring up themselves, but I pushed. Women have been accused of being hormonal. First, we have our menstrual cycle, the first half of our careers, and then we go through menopause. I wanted to hear our guest's perspective. Can women talk about these hormones or menopause openly?
Not really. It's not really like a easy like to like talk like in front of the others. So that is not really like easy. So it includes the changes, like depending on the monthly period or like a period pause, for the woman. So that worked. But I don't think not so many employees, including me, use actively that.
I was at a networking event and I was about to speak, and as luck would have it, I had the hot flushes, right? So sweating and all that going, oh God. And I just made that comment. I'm like, oh, another hot flash, right? And the lady next to me just says, "You said that out loud." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." and and she was completely appalled that I had actually had the courage to say it. Well, maybe the audacity to say it. But I think this whole idea of aging and actually saying that we are aging and that we are having problems with hormones and stuff like that. I think that should be normalized. I think a lot of us are so scared of talking about it. So, which is precisely why we're looking at coming out with a workshop on menopause and dealing with it. Because I think for a lot of women we're so scared. So for me, let's normalize it. Especially because you're at that peak of your career. And I think we cannot be seen as robots, right? We have to say that we're humans. This is what our bodies are going through, but it doesn't in any way stop us as being more effective managers in any way.
I agree. We should be able to discuss hormonal changes openly and work around the symptoms. As for what our guests perceived about how women behave differently, as I said earlier, some of these could be traits, some of them could be acquired skills, or they could be social conditioning. What matters is that these women perceived other women to have them. Men, including the men in the boardroom, may also have such perceptions. So, just think about this aspect. As one of the reports said, ideally we want diversity of thought. What it didn't say is how to get it. So, leveraging the female factor might be an idea. I'm Hansi. See you in the next episode about how our guests built a village of influences.